130 to 121, your final score as the New York Knicks advance to a 2-0 series lead against the Indiana Pacers right here at home at Madison Square Garden. And the Knicks came into game 2 having won 6 of their 8 last games against the Pacers at home, including game 1 from Monday. And with the news coming out last night that Mitchell Robinson would be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks and therefore the rest of the series, New York had to stick to the mentality that got them the second seed despite missing Randall, Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson himself in the first place, which is next man up. The Knicks' first basket of the night came just how everyone expected, a Brunson pull-up from the mid-range right over the reach of Andrew Nembhard. And other than that, New York got all their points in the paint, with 12 of their 15 first scores coming from inside, and it was Hartenstein, Anunoby twice, and Josh Hart using these slow step-through finishes inside to go and finish through Miles Turner, Indiana's rim protector. And the Knicks rolled on, leading 24-13 with about 4 minutes left in the first, but the momentum stopped there. Jalen Brunson tweaked his foot while in the paint with Indiana's Miles Turner on a defensive possession, and the Pacers really seized the moment. They began a slew of scoring, and after scoring 36 in the opening quarter, they scored 37 in the second. A 70-point half for Indiana really did not spell anything good for the Knicks. And despite OG Anunoby coming into the night with a playoff career high of 26 back in Toronto and having 22 at halftime, the Knicks trailed by 10 at that halftime mark. But even with Jalen Brunson exiting late in the first quarter and not being seen again, even his father, Knicks assistant coach Rick Brunson, going to the tunnel and seeing what was up with his son, well, it was 54 years to the day after Willis Reed's famous tunnel exit that propelled the Knicks to a Game 7 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals to get them their first franchise championship. And tonight, Jalen Brunson showed maybe he tapped into a little bit of that same magic. I mean, anyone who was on their phone during the halftime break looked right up quickly as thunderous applause from the crowd began at what seemed like a totally random time, but it certainly wasn't random. It was Brunson re-entering the arena and taking the court, getting some shots up. Even though the Knicks surrendered a bucket right when the second half began, it really didn't matter much. I mean, there was no feeling stronger in the world's most famous arena than one of the most powerful possible to feel, and that's hope. Dante DiVincenzo said to reporters after the game he didn't even know how much they were down at halftime, that the team was just sitting in the locker room saying, "We're going to win this game." New York tightened the gap quickly thanks to 2 threes and a nasty, nasty dunk from DiVincenzo himself, making it just a 79-74 Indiana advantage. An and one from Jalen Brunson, a Josh Hart layup, and an OG Anunoby 3 gave the Knicks a 3-point lead. And the Garden crowd was roaring. I mean, roaring with every defensive stop, with every basket. And you could feel it in the air. You could hear it from the crowd with such intensity. The Knicks were rolling beyond belief. They closed the third quarter up 99-91, but before that happened, they got bitten again by the injury bug. OG Anunoby left the court through that infamous tunnel, grabbing at his left hamstring, and he wasn't seen for the rest of the game. So for the Knicks, next man up again. McConnell, Shepard, the Pacers' strong second unit, especially Obi Toppin, the former Knick, really helped to reduce that newly found deficit early in the fourth quarter. But even with Julius Randle, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby added to that list unavailable, the Knicks and their quite depleted front court were just enough. I mean, one astounding high effort, full draining effort play after another. The Knicks really showed that they were giving it their all, especially Brunson, who got all the way up to 27 points after a 10-foot pull-up jumper on what was the Knicks' third effort on that play. Offensive rebounds from Achua and Hartenstein resulted in a dead ball. Knicks get it, and Brunson scores, and he finished with 29, leading them to that 9-point victory. And DiVincenzo and Anunoby were right behind him, having 28 each. And yes, a playoff career high for OG Anunoby, even though he did miss the end of the game with the hamstring injury. Maybe more impressive was Jalen Brunson leading the Knicks in scoring with 29, despite missing a quarter and 4 minutes in the first half. But after the game, Tom Thibodeau spoke to Jalen Brunson's mental toughness, his ability to return, saying that he showed that he can be at his best when his best is needed, even if he wasn't feeling his best. And that's been one of the mantras of this Knick team so far this year. I mean, Brunson himself kept it short after the game, as he likes to do, saying only of his foot that he's all good. And when asked what he was doing to test it in the second quarter, he said, testing it. When asked if he thought he'd return, he said he had a decision to make, and he made it. That's Jalen Brunson, folks. And, well, the Knicks play Friday in Indiana, where they have a chance to officially start the series. As we know, they're up 2-0, both wins coming at home, and they learned in the Philadelphia series in the first round that maybe Pat Riley was onto something when he said a series doesn't really start until a team wins one on the road. We'll have you covered for those games, and especially when the Knicks are back here at the Garden, if necessary. Colin Lochran and I will have you covered for WFUV Sports. Thanks so much for tuning into our coverage. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with you from the world's most famous arena.